The Sadducees and the Pharisees are two groups that are frequently mentioned in the New Testament, most often at loggerheads with Jesus, but they couldn't have been more different from each other. Think of them as two different camps in Judea's religious and political landscape. Who were the Sadducees? The Sadducees were the aristocrats. These folks were the wealthy, high society, and most of them were priests. They had the control of the temple in Jerusalem, and therefore the temple tax, a nice little earner that kept them in linen and lamb chops. But when it comes to theology, they were pretty conservative. They didn't believe in the resurrection of the dead, or in angels or spirits. Only the written Torah, the first 5 books of the Old Testament, was their jam, and they didn't entertain the oral Torah or the rabbinic traditions that were becoming popular at the time. What about the Pharisees? The Pharisees were a different breed. They were like the religious middle class, a social movement consisting largely of laymen, and they were popular with the common folk. Unlike their Sadducee counterparts, they believed in the whole shebang: resurrection, angels, spirits, and the afterlife. They also accepted other scriptures like the prophets and the writings as authoritative. The Pharisees put a strong emphasis on the oral Torah and the interpretation of the law, which they argued was handed down alongside the written laws in the Torah. Why does it matter? Their differences mattered because it placed them at the heart of social tension and religious debate in Jewish society. When Jesus enters the picture, these tensions get cranked up to 11. The Sadducees' power was threatened because Jesus was challenging their temple-based authority. The Pharisees, on the other hand, found their meticulous interpretations of the law challenged by this rabbi from the sticks who preached a more direct and heartfelt religion. Both groups had their reasons to be wary of Jesus, but it's also clear why some of his teachings might have resonated more with Pharisees who, despite their love of the law, also had a bit more in common with Jesus' views on the afterlife and the broader scriptural canon. It's a complicated relationship, but let's just say Thanksgiving dinners would have been super awkward had they all been invited to the same table. From our modern perspective, living here in Portland, we're quite removed from the ancient political and religious quarrels of Judea. Yet studying these differences provides us with valuable context when we're trying to grapple with the complex narratives and power dynamics at play in the New Testament. It's like trying to understand a game without knowing the teams. You've got to get the lay of the land before things start making sense.